The notification hit my phone at 2:14 a.m. You've been removed from the family group chat. No explanation. No warning. Just silence and a photo attached below the message. My sister Claire in a white dress. My parents beside her. A caption in my mother's handwriting. Our perfect day. I stared at the screen until the glow blurred my eyes. That was my family, smiling like I never existed. I felt something crack inside me, sharp and final. My name is Emily Ward. And from wherever you're watching this, stay with me. Have you ever been treated like a ghost in the story you helped build? Because that night I learned what it felt like to be erased by blood. The next morning, Mom's number flashed on my phone. Emily, don't make this harder than it already is, she said. The wedding's small. Just family. I laughed, bitter. I am family. He sighed like I was being dramatic. Claire deserves peace. Always. Bring tension. Translation: I told the truth too often. Like when I warned Claire that Tyler, her fiancé, flirted with her friends at every party. Like when I caught him lying about a business trip in Vegas. But truth in our house was poison. And I was the one who drank it first. 2 weeks later, I watched her wedding unfold through strangers' Instagram stories. Her dress, lace and expensive. The venue, a sun-drenched vineyard in Napa. The man, the same one who once texted me, "You'd be prettier if you smiled." My parents toasted to new beginnings. My sister smiled like a queen in a kingdom built on denial. I deleted every picture of them from my phone that night. Not out of hate but survival. The next morning my phone buzzed again. A private message. From an unknown account. You were right about him. Watch this. Attached, a 17-second video. Claire, in her wedding dress, standing by the cake. Tyler whispers something, she frowns. He raises his hand. The sound is clear. The crowd gasps. The video ends there, abrupt, haunting. I dropped my phone. My hands shook. I didn't know who sent it. I didn't care. All I knew was that every lie they told about me was about to rot in the open air. Because sometimes truth doesn't need a voice. It only needs a witness. And I had just become both. By dawn, the video had already reached half the town. By noon it hit 2 million views. By night it was everywhere. Groom slaps bride at Napa wedding. Guests frozen as violence caught on tape. Every headline turned my sister's dream day into a public execution. And I wish I could say I felt joy. But the truth? It was a strange kind of grief. The kind that tastes like justice. Mom called first. Her voice trembled between anger and desperation. Emily, did you do this? I almost laughed. You think I leaked that video? Well, who else would, she snapped. You were always jealous. Jealous. I cut her off. Of being punched in front of 200 people? She went quiet. That silence. That was the sound of decades of denial cracking open. By evening, Tyler had deleted all his social media. Claire's accounts went private. But the internet doesn't forget. Clips spread like wildfire, slowed down, captioned dissected. People debated whether it was real or staged. Some defended him. Most didn't. And then the reporters came. They found me through an old photo tag. Me and Claire at our high school graduation, arms around each other, smiling. Before everything fell apart. A woman from Channel 7 News showed up at my apartment door. Emily Ward? Her microphone gleamed like a blade. We're covering the wedding assault story. Can you confirm if you're related to the bride? I hesitated. Then something in me hardened. Yes, I said. She's my sister. That 3-second clip of me saying she's my sister became its own headline. Suddenly I was no longer the outcast. I was the sister who warned her. The comments poured in. Emily tried to save her. That poor girl. No one listened. Imagine being right all along. My inbox filled with interview offers, podcast invites, even brand deals. Everyone wanted a piece of my pain. Monetized, packaged, replayed. But behind the screens I couldn't stop thinking about Claire. Where was she sleeping that night? Was she safe? Was she sorry? At 2:07 a.m. my phone buzzed again. A text from a number I didn't recognize. He's looking for you. My heart stopped. Who is this? I typed. No reply. Then a second message. A photo. My apartment building. Taken from across the street. Caption read, "You should have stayed out of it, Emily." And that's when I realized. The video wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something darker. Because when people's lies start dying, they don't go quietly. The next morning I woke up to sunlight slicing through my blinds. But it didn't feel like morning. It felt like surveillance. My eyes went straight to the window. Across the street, a black car sat idling, tinted windows, engine humming. No plates. No movement. Just waiting. My name is Emily Ward, and that's when I realized, truth isn't free. It charges you in fear. I called the police. They said, "We'll send a unit to check," like it was a broken mailbox, not a threat. No one came. By noon I packed a duffel bag. Laptop, charger, passport, cash, years of self-preservation distilled into one nervous ritual. I was ready to disappear. Then came the knock. 3 slow, deliberate thuds. I froze. Through the peephole. Claire. Her makeup was smeared, her hair tangled. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Emily," she whispered when I opened the door. "Please." I didn't know where else to go. She collapsed into my arms like a child, shaking. The smell of perfume and panic clung to her. "He hit me again," she said, voice breaking. "At the hotel after the video blew up. He said I ruined him." I tried to breathe, but my chest tightened. "Claire, you have to call the police." She shook her head violently. "I can't. He said if I talk to anyone, he'll show them the messages." "What messages?" Her eyes darted to the door. "The ones that make it look like I provoked him." My blood ran cold. I knew Tyler. I knew exactly how he worked. Charming in public, venom in private. I made her tea. She didn't drink it. She just sat there, trembling, staring at the black car outside. "He's watching me," she whispered. "I swear he's outside right now." I peeked through the blinds. The car was gone. But in its place, a white envelope tucked under my windshield wiper. I went outside to grab it. No return address. Just my name in red ink. Inside was a single photo. Me and Claire from the night before the wedding. We were hugging, laughing, and behind us, reflected in a mirror, was Tyler. Watching. Smiling. On the back, a handwritten note. "Sisters shouldn't keep secrets." I ran back inside, breathless. Claire's hands were over her mouth. She whispered, "He knows where we are." And then her phone buzzed. The screen lit up with his name, Tyler. She didn't answer. The phone buzzed again. And again. Finally, a text appeared. "You think you can hide with her? Watch the news tomorrow." That night, neither of us slept. The shadows in the room felt alive, like they were listening. And in the silence between breaths, I realized something horrifying. Tyler wasn't trying to win Claire back. He was trying to destroy both of us. The next morning, my phone lit up with notifications. Hundreds of them. Mentions. Texts. DMs. The internet had turned into a funeral with cameras. Hashtag Napa wedding was trending again. Only this time there was a new video. Claire. In a hotel room. Crying, mascara streaked. Saying things she never said. I shouldn't have yelled at him. I just lost control. Her voice trembled, rehearsed. Then, a visible jump cut. A splice. The kind of edit you only notice when you've been watching for truth your entire life. My stomach twisted. He'd done it. Tyler had taken pieces of her fear and stitched them into a confession. Claire saw it 30 seconds later. Her face turned ghost white. "That's not real," she whispered. "I never said that." But the comments didn't care. So she admits it. Looks like she's just as toxic. Classic manipulation. The court of public opinion had already ruled. And I knew exactly what Tyler's next move would be. He'd make me look like the mastermind. At 11:04 a.m., a local news alert popped up on my screen. Exclusive. Sister of viral bride accused of leaking private footage. My photo. My name. My apartment building in the background. He'd flipped the story. I wasn't the sister who warned her. I was the villain who humiliated her. Reporters camped outside within an hour. Neighbors peeked through blinds like I was a crime scene. Even my boss called, voice tight. Emily, we have to suspend you until this clears up. PR nightmare. I wanted to scream. But instead I laughed, quietly, hollowly. Because this was how abusers survived. They rewrote reality faster than anyone could catch them. Claire sat on the couch holding her phone, shaking her head. I can't fix this, she whispered. Everyone thinks I'm lying. I crouched beside her. We don't need to fix it. We just need to show them the truth. She looked up, confused. What truth? I pointed to her wedding ring still on her finger. The one thing he forgot. Proof. I grabbed my laptop, opened an old folder. A habit I never admitted to anyone. Screenshots. Years of them. Texts, receipts, photos. Every time Tyler gaslighted Claire, every time he flirted with someone else, every time she told me, maybe I overreacted. Kept them all. Because I knew someday she'd need to see what survival looked like on paper. When I turned the screen toward her, her face broke. You kept all this? Yes, I said. Because one day I knew you'd stop believing his version of you. Tears slipped down her cheeks. She whispered, he's going to kill us, Emily. I shook my head. No. He's going to expose himself. That night I created a burner account. Anonymous name. No trace. I uploaded everything. The texts, the videos, the proof. Each file time-stamped, backed by digital receipts. The final post. This is what happens when you mistake control for love. And then I hit post. The next morning it was everywhere again. But this time the narrative flipped. Evidence suggests Groom manipulated and abused bride. New leaks prove sister's innocence. For a moment, just a breath, I felt the weight lift. Until my phone rang. A blocked number. I answered. Tyler's voice, low, calm, venomous. You think the internet can save you? Look outside. I turned to the window. And saw smoke rising from the parking lot. My car. Engulfed in flames. The fire spread fast. Orange tongues of flame devoured the metal, painting the night in panic. The air stank of burning rubber and revenge. I stood frozen at the window, the sound of glass cracking below, sirens growing closer. But all I could hear was his voice replaying in my head. Look outside. He'd done it. He wanted me to watch my world burn. Claire grabbed my arm. Emily, we have to go, now. We bolted down the back stairs, smoke trailing behind us. The fire trucks arrived, but the damage was done. My car, my escape, gone. I could feel eyes watching from somewhere in the chaos. That same cold sensation of being seen but not found. We ended up at a cheap motel off Highway 17, flickering neon, peeling paint, the kind of place no one asks questions. Claire curled up on the bed, silent, eyes wide open. I sat by the window scrolling through news updates. The leaked evidence had gone viral overnight. People were turning on Tyler now. Threats. Hashtags. Hashtag justice for Claire was trending. But I wasn't relieved. I'd lived too long in the shadows of men who think exposure equals defeat. It doesn't. It provokes them. At 3:22 a.m. I heard a knock on the door. 3 soft taps, like a warning, not a request. I froze. Then came a voice. Oh, familiar. Emily. It's me. Open up. My stomach dropped. Tyler. Claire bolted upright, whispering, don't open it. Don't you dare. I stayed silent. The knocking turned into pounding. Then his voice again, closer to a snarl. You think you can humiliate me online? You think people care about your little victim act? He kicked the door once. Wood cracked. I grabbed the motel phone, dialed 911. My voice trembled as I whispered our location. The operator said, stay on the line. But I didn't. Because the door gave way with a final crack. He stepped inside. Eyes bloodshot, shirt stained, holding something small and dark in his hand. A pistol. "Where is it?" he spat. "The laptop. The files. I'll make this quick if you hand it over." Claire screamed, "Tyler, please." He swung toward her, and that split second of distraction was all I needed. I grabbed the nearest thing, a heavy lamp, and swung with everything I had. It shattered against his shoulder. He stumbled, cursed, dropped the gun. I kicked it away and screamed, "Run!" We tore through the back door into the alley, bare feet slapping pavement, lungs on fire. Police sirens echoed in the distance. They found him minutes later. Handcuffed, screaming my name like a curse. But even as they dragged him into the car, he smiled. Blood dripping from his lip. That same arrogant grin. "You think this is over?" he shouted. "You've only started a war." That night, as I watched the red and blue lights fade down the road, Claire collapsed into me sobbing. "I thought he'd never stop," she whispered. And I realized he wouldn't have. Not unless someone made him stop. But the part that scared me most wasn't that he'd tried to kill us. It was that even in handcuffs, he looked certain he'd still win. The courthouse smelled like old paper and fear. Reporters crowded the steps, microphones hungry for sound bites. Every headline had my name now. Emily Ward, the sister who fought back. But I wasn't a hero. I was just tired of surviving in silence. Inside, the air was colder. Claire sat beside me, hands trembling, wearing borrowed clothes. Her eyes never left the defense table. Tyler sat there, hair slicked back, suit pressed, face calm. Like nothing had ever happened. When he looked at us, he smiled. That same quiet smirk that used to make me question my own sanity. The prosecutor stood, reading the charges aloud. Domestic assault. Arson. Stalking. Defamation. Each word felt heavy, sharp, like they were being carved into stone. Tyler's lawyer, though, was polished, rehearsed. He painted Tyler as a man driven to emotional breaking by online humiliation. He even called the video a misunderstanding amplified by social media hysteria. Claire's jaw tightened. I could see the years of gaslighting flash behind her eyes. Every apology. Every denial. Every time she said, "He didn't mean it." When it was my turn to testify, I stood. My hands shook, but my voice didn't. "Tyler didn't just hurt her," I said. "He built a story to justify it. He made us believe pain was our fault. That's what men like him do. They rewrite truth until it sounds like forgiveness." He stared at me the whole time, expression blank. But his foot tapped under the table. Nervous. Cornered. After court, we walked out into a storm of cameras. Flashes everywhere. Blinding, invasive. Someone yelled, "Emily, is it true you're making a documentary?" I didn't answer. Because the truth was, I'd already started filming. Every bruise. Every text. Every headline. I wasn't making content. I was making evidence. A week later, the trial went viral again, but for a different reason. A journalist leaked body cam footage from the night of the fire. The video showed Tyler shouting, "She thinks she can burn me down online. I'll burn her world for real." The internet didn't forgive that. Within hours, his sponsors, his job, his so-called friends, all gone. He was poisoned now. Still, he refused to plead guilty. He wanted the world to hear his version. And the judge allowed it. When he took the stand, he didn't apologize. He looked straight at the cameras and said, "You'll forget me, but I'll never forget her." The courtroom fell silent. I could feel the hair on my arms rise. Not from fear, from knowing that this was the last lie he'd ever tell under oath. The verdict came 2 days later. Guilty. All counts. The gavel dropped like thunder. Claire's hand found mine. For the first time in years, her breathing sounded like peace. But as they led him away, Tyler turned once more. Just once. And mouthed something only I saw. "Check your email." That night I did. And there was one unread message. No subject line. No name. Just a video attachment. I clicked play. The screen filled with footage from my own apartment. Taken weeks ago. While I slept. For a long moment I couldn't move. The video played on my laptop, soundless. Just the soft rhythm of my breathing captured in the dark. The frame shook slightly like it was filmed by hand. Someone had been inside my apartment, watching, recording, and whoever filmed it had gotten close enough to whisper. At the 12-second mark, a voice, low, male, deliberate, broke through the static. "You think this ends in court?" My blood turned to ice. I slammed the laptop shut. My reflection in the black screen looked like a stranger, pale, shaking, terrified. Claire rushed out from the kitchen. What happened? I couldn't speak. I just opened the laptop again and pressed play. When the whisper repeated, her face drained of color. "Emily," she breathed, "he's still doing this." I nodded. He must have sent it before the verdict. Maybe someone helped him. She sat down, hands gripping the table. He had a friend. His coworker, Daniel. He used to help Tyler track my location when I blocked him. I felt a cold certainty settle in my chest. If Tyler couldn't hurt us himself, he'd hired someone who would. We went to the police that night, showed them the footage. They promised to look into it. Their tone said otherwise. So I decided to make them care. I uploaded the video. Anonymous account. Title: Proof he never stopped. Within hours, it hit 500,000 views. People were horrified. The comments flooded in. "This is haunting. How did no one protect them? They need to reopen the case." By morning, a detective called. The video had gone so viral, the department couldn't ignore it anymore. They traced the footage to a secondary device, an external drive hidden in Tyler's locker at his former workplace. When they opened it, there were dozens of clips. All time-stamped. All showing me. Sleeping. Cooking. Leaving for work. Everyday moments turned into evidence of obsession. The detective met us in his office. "You were under surveillance for at least 6 months, he said. He didn't act alone. We're identifying a second suspect." Claire's voice broke. "So even when he said he'd leave us alone?" "He never did," I finished. I stared at the drive on the table, my stolen privacy sealed in cold metal. Part of me wanted to throw it against the wall. The other part wanted to burn it. But instead I said, I want it all preserved. Every frame. Every time stamp. Because evidence was power. And for once that power was mine. That night I got another email. No video this time. Just words. "You made the world believe I'm a monster. But monsters don't die, they multiply." Attached was a single image. A live traffic camera still. It showed Claire and me crossing a street downtown that morning. Taken less than 4 hours ago. Someone was still following us. Claire whispered, "Emily, what if this never ends?" I looked at her. My sister who once called me dramatic, jealous, difficult. Now trembling beside me in the same fear I lived in for years. "It will," I said softly. "Because this time I'm not waiting for justice." We didn't go home that night. We didn't even tell the police where we were going. Because this wasn't about running anymore. It was about ending it. Claire sat in the passenger seat of a borrowed car, staring out the window. The sky was black velvet, heavy with rain. The world felt like it was holding its breath. "Are you sure about this?" she whispered. I nodded. "Monsters hide in shadows. We're going to drag ours into the light." We drove 3 hours north to an address the detective had slipped me, unofficially. The name tied to the second suspect, Daniel Ross. Tyler's old coworker. The one who'd helped him spy on us. The cabin sat at the edge of a dead forest. One porch light flickering, generator humming like a heartbeat. It smelled of damp wood and secrets. Claire clutched her phone. "Emily, what if he's dangerous?" I met her eyes. "He already is." We approached quietly. Every step felt like walking through history. The kind where survival is the only proof of existence. Through the window we saw him. Daniel. Headphones on, laptop open. And on that laptop screen, feeds of security cameras. Our street. Our building. Our lives. I pushed the door open. It creaked, loud enough for him to turn. He froze. "Emily." His face was pale, his fingers still hovering over the keyboard. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "No," I said, stepping closer. "You shouldn't have been in our lives." Claire filmed quietly from behind me. Her camera caught everything, his voice, his guilt, his fear. "You helped him," I said. "You watched us. For what? Money? Loyalty?" He shook his head, frantic. "He made me. He said he'd ruin me if I didn't. Then ruin him back. It only took one call. One terrified confession. Daniel gave them everything. Burner accounts, devices, the name of the man still sending us threats from inside prison. Tyler had bribed a guard to deliver messages, smuggled phones to keep control. By the time the FBI arrived, Daniel was crying. Claire kept filming. Not because we needed proof, but because the world deserved to see what monsters looked like when they ran out of lies. Weeks passed. Tyler's privileges were revoked. New charges were filed. Conspiracy, intimidation, tampering. Daniel took a deal, turning over every recording, every file, every ghost that haunted us. For the first time in years, silence felt safe. No buzzing phone at 2 a.m. No cameras. No shadows that moved when we didn't. One evening, Claire and I stood on the hill behind our childhood home. The vineyard still glittered below, same place her wedding had burned itself into memory. But now it was quiet. No music. No lies. Claire turned to me, tears in her eyes. "I wish I'd believed you sooner." I smiled, soft but certain. "You did, just too late to save the old us. But right on time to save the new one." We stood there watching the last light fade. The kind of silence that doesn't hurt. The kind that means something finally ended. Before we left, I pulled out my phone and started recording. Not for the internet. Not for revenge. Just for truth. "My name is Emily Ward," I said. "And from wherever you're watching this, remember, silence protects no one. But truth? It saves." I turned the camera toward Claire. She smiled, small, fragile, free. Behind us, the horizon caught fire with sunset, not destruction. And for the first time since that video went viral, we weren't victims in someone else's story. We were the authors.